Welcome along to the EXFL Tier 2 Season 7 Canadian Grand Prix. I'm F1 Union main commentator for tonight, and I've just realised I need to get in a party because I'm in game chat. Right, there we go. Right, so just sorting out because there was a new update, etc. Some people are still trying to get in, and Nathan was one of them. He's in. Okay, that's good. I'll do a proper intro in a minute or two. Hope everyone's having a good evening, and I'm hoping everyone's going to be excited for this race. Okay, right. Just gonna check if I can hear myself. Alright, testing, 1, 2, 3. Alright, that's good. Okay, right. Just under 15 minutes remaining then. And BCFC Josh, like most qualifying sessions, out there first, setting the first lap time of the 18-minute qualifying session, followed by Lightan, just under a tenth behind on the softs compared to Josh, who usually, most always, does the medium run first. And then Ollie will go again. Anyway, Canadian Grand Prix, round 8 of 22 of this 7th season in EXFL Tier 2. Got 14 at the moment, and hopefully a few others will join. As a 10th ahead, AFC Callum. Callum, with that yellow Ferrari livery now, has been updated, so we'll see that for the next few weeks, like it was on F1 22. Callum, after Imola, picked himself up, and after qualifying ban in the Spanish Grand Prix last week, found himself in a very impressive P4, but unfortunately due to penalties dropped him down to P6. But nonetheless, is this a new AFC Callum? Let's hope so, and let's hope he can get some more points on the board. BCFC Josh heading into the pits, and then Lightan returning once again after his Miami win, and then Ben 10th and a half ahead into the 1 minute 10s as a new guy by the name of Luigi. He's unfortunately having connections. And Frosty Life will be joining in a minute. As Chaz F1, championship leader, winner of the Spanish Grand Prix, leading home a 1-2 for his team. Currently sits in P5. Look at that, 4 tenths cover the top 5. And there we go, Swaggy Kiki as well. Keanu has rejoined Tier 2 after Miami last season, gone up to Tier 1, new game, not as quick, back down to Tier 2, so we should have about 16 as soon as they get in their cars. All good at the moment, right. Have I covered those, right? Yes, right. Cal in the McLaren, hoping to score some more points as they charge to Alfa Romeo. Ollie has put another lap time on the board in the Haas. He's been very impressive so far in his Tier 2 debut season. And then Horosia, once again, not on the pace, but on the mediums, of course, so we'll hope he can deliver more. And then BRL Frozen, he missed out last week, and it was a massive 25-point swing to his, I think we can say now, as we're 8 rounds in, title rival. And unfortunately, Luigi's just having the same issue that Ben had back in Saudi Arabia. He keeps joining and leaving. Right, Nathan, let's hope he can get some more points on the board. And then, yes, Swaggy Kiki, promoted to the Alpine. Warren has been demoted, and he will now return to the grid. The Dutch Dodo, just coming to the line then. Got a podium last time out in Spain. On his proper return, goes P7 at the moment. There we go, we have 16. Nathan, Swaggy and Frosty returning a couple of races ago. Let's hope we can get some more points on the board. As with Logan, who's usually always the last one out, sets a lap under the radar, and then Hoping to catch it this time. But yeah, Seb, well, that made it an Alfa Romeo third row. And AFC Callum still sticking on the front row at the moment. I'm sure he's loving life at the moment. Yeah, let's hope, fingers crossed, this is a new AFC Callum. All he's got to really perfect is his penalties, which around Canada of all tracks is a very difficult track to do that. Not just for him, but everyone involved. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of places decided, especially if we have a classic end of race safety car. Yes, I can invite... That's not the right one. There we go. Right, maybe 17 then, with Frankie joining. Right, and across the line for Ben. I think he's just starting a lap. Or not. There he is. There's Frankie. So we should have 17, all good and proper. There was an update, if you lot didn't know. And I think a few of these guys forgot to do that. Right, sorted. Just 10.5 minutes remaining. And final check of the chats. And I think the only issue is Luigi. Right, hopefully that should be the last of it, as I think Frankie just needs to get in his car. So then Ben invalidated on his run. Callum ending the second sector now, going through the hairpin. It is a bright sunny sky as BRL Frozen not going to the top at the moment. He said this track isn't one of his best, and at the moment Ben 94 still on provisional pole. This is getting very interesting. Top 6 covered by under 4/10, and they're all 6 different constructors. As a matter of fact, BCFC Josh, remember, he's on the soft compound tyres now when he set his lap on the medium. So he does go very strongly around Canada. I remember in the wet a couple seasons ago that he was the one to beat. He took pole position. Can he make it number 2? As he's coning around, as Frankie's left again. He's 4/10 up as Josh. This should surely be for provisional pole. As he's heading along the back straight now, heading towards the final chicane. Just got to avoid the wall of champions. Left, then right, and it looks pretty simple. Does he take the shortest route to the line? He does, and across the line it is provisional pole for BCFC Josh by only 1/10.5. He seemed to have lost a bit of time, but then again he was 3/10 off, so that might have equated to level. But Ollie now splits the two Alfa Romeos. Right. So Josh leading, Ben in the pits, BRL Frozen crossing the line. I think he's going again. AFC Callum heading out the pits. Lightan just about to start a lap. Chaz, same. Ollie just finished. Seb and Noah, same, starting a lap about to. Callum in the pits. Hiroshi, the slowest lap time of the board so far, 11. And he's on an out lap. Nathan, invalidated. Swaggy in the pits. And Frosty about to start his lap. I'm guessing that's Lewis's AI. Luigi's AI. I have no idea. But then Logan. Don't want to catch him under the don't want to miss him under the radar this time. But alright, he's on track. I don't know about traffic here because it seems like there's a massive train all the way from the Red Bull of Noah all the way to the Alfa Romeo of Chaz, covering half the circuit. But Noah now is about to start his flying run, and we'll take you through a lap of the Canadian Grand Prix circuit of Gilles Villeneuve as he starts his lap now. Heavy braking into turn 1 using all the curve imaginable. Now through turn 2, just keep it going as acceleration goes up and more. Now heading to turn 3. Quick chicane, it comes at you a bit more blind than others. A very easy place to invalidate, but he's taking it very nicely indeed, using all the track possible. And then this track is all about braking, getting it right, and then getting the exit spot on, making sure not to lose the rear. Those medium to full traction runners are going to benefit a lot more than no traction around here, probably the most of the entire calendar. Getting right up to that metal wall and now through one of probably the most difficult chicane of the lot. Ending set to 2 now. How much time has he found? He's found a 10th, now heavy braking into the hairpin, one of the most vital and important exits to get right. As you climb up the gears, making sure no understeer appears. Now DRS on as he goes through all the gears up to 8th, and now you're just waiting and waiting for that final chicane to make or break your lap. And let's see if Noah can find the time. You've got to attack it as much as you can without getting invalidated. Go right up to the wall on the curb and now take the shortest line of least resistance, and across the line for Noah. It's a 1:11.4 that gets him up to P8. 14 thousandths ahead of Seb. Let's see what the rest can do. Top 3 in the pit lane. Callum invalidated, unfortunately. Lightan, purple set to 2. Don't know if we'll read too much into that. Chaz F1 then, championship leader. Now heading through the final couple corners and heading in. Horosia goes up to 7th. Williams 5 and 7. Seb, what about him? He's invalidated. Let's see. Lightan half a second up. This should surely compete with provisional pole as we have 5.5 minutes. Can he beat BCFC Josh 10.760? He crosses the line. It's a 10.796 and he misses out by 35 thousandths. This is probably the closest qualifying we've seen all season at the moment, because BRL Frozen, as much as he beat the record of 5 poles in a row before he missed Spain last week, is not currently showing the pace. 2.5 tenths off. But with 5 minutes remaining, let's see what he can do. AFC Callum starting P5 at the moment. He's a 10th down in the middle, in the first. He's just under in the middle. So unless he can find any more time, which I don't think he can at this moment, then that might be it. Only Ferrari on the grid at the moment. Unfortunately, his teammate left earlier, but I'm sure, well, Luigi, if he does a good enough job, but unfortunately due to that connection issues, maybe not, will hopefully get promoted. But at the moment, it just seems like he can't join. He's having the same issue Ben had in Saudi. Anyway, I hope everyone's having a good evening. I'm sure you're all excited for a very interesting and entertaining race that's about to happen. As Rosia, that's it for him, P7. But first, yes, we've got to decide the grid. As I have no idea if that's Luigi or his AI has done that. Whatever happens, he's the slowest of the lot. And I've just missed under the radar once again, Logan, P11. But whatever, look at that. Top 10, 6.5 tenths. Brilliant. But at the moment, that's it for Rosie. He will start 7th at best. Still waiting for Nathan, Swaggy and Frosty to set a lap time. As Frozen, 2 tenths up then. He's nearly found the time that he needs to put it on provisional pole. He's got clear track in front of him. He's in a Ferrari sandwich with 2 McLarens in the middle as his teammate is just heading into the hairpin now. So he was 2 tenths up in the first. How much time has he found more in the middle? He's still just under 3 tenths up as he goes wide for the hairpin to set himself up for a good exit onto the straight, and this should surely be the time to beat, but you never know. It's closer than previously thought. So BRL Frozen just has to head through the back straight now. He's got one final chicane to navigate. How can he ace it? He takes the right, and somehow he hasn't invalidated because his 2 tyres are still on track and the game's registered it, and we're going to register this as provisional pole by 2.5 tenths. BRL Frozen 10.501 with 3 minutes remaining. He should still probably be able to get in and do another lap. So people are coming out the pit lane there. But yeah, because his rear tyres were still registered on track and not all 4 tyres were not on, were not off track, that is still allowed, and that's something you can get away with on some of these corners on this game, or just previous games in general. So yeah, he absolutely attacked the final chicane. I haven't seen anyone else do that yet. Just the confidence to turn the car, hope it sticks. And yeah, brilliant lap from BRL Frozen. I think their time trials are low 10s, some may even be in the 9s. But at the moment, yeah, this is what we predicted. And BCFC Josh, last chance now. And then Frozen heads in. 1 minute 53 to go. I think that's it for him. I strongly think he won't be able to do another lap. So that's it for Frozen. A 10.501 is the time to beat. Josh in second, getting ready for his lap. Laitan just in front of him. Ben on his out lap. He'll be one of the last to cross the line. Callum invalidated. He's about to start. Chaz F1, what can he do? Down in sixth. Ollie just behind him. Noah heading through the first couple of corners. He's 2.5 tenths down. Seb getting ready for his lap. Logan about to cross the line for his. Callum has started his. He's just finishing the second sector now. Had to get past the traffic a little bit. He's 3 tenths down because of it. Lewis right behind him. Luigi, I don't see any issues that he's saying in the chat, so I think that is him, hopefully. Swaggy Kiki out on track. The Aston in front of him. I don't know if he's got in his way of Frosty, who's messed up on his lap. But anyway. Chaz F1 heading through the first chicane then. Let's see what his first sector split is. In his bid to challenge, he's 3.5 tenths up. This is a great first opening, as that is it for Luigi. P14 at best. He'll start last with the slowest lap time at the moment. What about the final two? Let's see their lap time. Swaggy goes 12th. Frosty about to start his final run, back on board with Chaz F1 then. How much more time can he find through the middle sector? It's 6 tenths. This could be a very promising lap as he heads through the hairpin now. He's just got to think about that final chicane. Frozen took it immaculately. Let's see what his title rival can do. Chaz F1, he's found 6 tenths. He's going to need to find a few more to be within a challenge. Logan goes third, 14 thousandths off. Chaz F1 attacks the final chicane, goes right up to the wall, and here we go then. Can he do enough to at least get it on the front row? Chaz F1 crosses the line. It's 2 tenths off, but it is the front row at the moment. BCFC Josh doesn't improve. He'll be third at the best. Logan fourth. Good lap from him. Very close between second all the way down to fifth. Laitan invalidated, so that is it. Ben, he's finding time. He's found 3 and a bit tenths. So can Ben 94 as Seb now goes P3. Alfa Romeo doing their bit in qualifying to have a great result. But here comes Ben then. Can he beat a 10.5 across the line? Ben 94 is on pole position by 200ths. He's beaten BOL Frozen. Absolutely amazing from him, as across the line is Callum. P8 at best for him. And I think that's the grid. Swaggy crosses the line. I don't think he'll improve. No, he doesn't. What about Callum? He's invalidated. Ben 94 for Mercedes on pole position, his first pole position in EXFL Tier 2, and by 200ths. That's got to be the smallest margin of the season in qualifying. He's beaten BOL Frozen. Chaz 2 tenths behind. Seb 15 thousandths off that. Josh 37 thousandths off that. So close. What a quali, and what a race we have in store. Right then, there you go. P3 all the way down to P7, covered by less than a tenth. And then Callum in a very impressive P8 ahead of Noah in P9. Horosia gets into the top 10, and the top 11 all covered by under a second. Ollie P11. Frosty managed to get 12th ahead of Swaggy. Callum down in 14th. Nathan in 15th. Lewis the slowest. Luigi the slowest of them all. And unfortunately, I don't think Frankie's been able to join. So we will have 16, not 17, but that's what was predicted on the attendance poll anyway. I have no idea about the weather for the race. But that quali, like always, very impressive and interesting. And it looks like it'll be dry for the race. Ben 94, first ever pole position then. Alongside Taze Frozen, who's looking to close the gap between him and Chaz. I think the gap's, what, 24 points? Double check. Yeah, 24 points. And Seb is only 9 points off Frozen, and he's got himself on the second row with his teammate. And then 17 points further back is Logan. He's always just picking off those really good points, is Logan. The odd podium, the top fives. It's really helping him to be fourth in the standings. And then 7 points behind him is our pole man, Ben on 51 points. So we'll have the formation lap first. And I should probably take a photo of the lineup. What the hell is Logan doing? What is Logan doing? Oh dear. Right, photo taken of the grid just in case of any glitches. Formation lap has begun. Logan, he's ghosted for some reason. He went before everyone else went. Anyway, tyres, or tyre strat should I say. Ben, the only one of the top 6 on the medium compound tyres, as Nathan's going to have to join his car after the lights, unfortunately. The 5 behind him, all on the hards. Then we have Lightan and Callum on the mediums, as has Erosia, and then Noah and everyone else behind on the hards, apart from Luigi down in 16th on the soft compound tyres. See if he can make up some ground. Anyway, let's look back to Logan. Is he still ghosted? Yes. Weird, but hopefully he's alright. 35 laps ahead of us. Final check of the chats. There's your strategy. Oh, Logan wasn't even there. There's an image. Jesus Christ. As Seb is disqualified, as is Erosia. Don't know what happened there. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. They're only on surface only. Alright, final time. Hope everyone's having a good evening. And hope everyone's going to enjoy this 35 lap race we got in store. It's been an eventful formation lap already. Already closing in on one of those. Logan and Nathan have disconnected. They are going to have to take control of their car after the lights. Hopefully no collisions happen from that. Ben slots into his grid box. First time on pole position. Don't need telemetry at the moment. Bit of Frozen lines up alongside him. Ben will have the inside, then followed by an Alfa Romeo. Second row. Josh 5th as Callum in, out from 10th onwards, disqualified. But anyway, here we go then. The 5 lights come on for the Canadian Grand Prix as the revs rise. Ben on the left, Taze on the right, and the cars are away. It's lights out, and away we go. Ben does get a good start. Ahead of Taze Frozen, down the inside is looking Chaz F1 versus Taze Frozen into turn 1. They're still wheel to wheel, and now into turn 2. Ben leads away from Frozen, who gets ahead of Chaz, and then Seb stays ahead of Josh, and there's yellows further back. Callum up to 6, and then there comes the 2 Williams, Noah, and then Callum round out the top 10. Swaggy versus Ollie, who's spun round, and he's avoiding the barrier just about. Frosty and Logan, unfortunately, is back down into last, but Ben leads them away ahead of Taze, ahead of Chaz, right on the gearbox of that McLaren, and then Seb just holding fort as Josh, Callum, Lightan, Erosia, Noah, Callum, Kiki as Nathan has left again as Callum making more moves down the inside, but now he nearly gets spun by Josh, who goes back round the outside. Quickly invite Logan. Damn it. Logan, no front wing for him. There we go. Right then, after the first lap, as Callum and Noah are battling away through the chicane, seems like Noah's got ahead. Ben then completes the first lap ahead of Taze Frozen and Chaz just behind him. And then Seb watching this unfold. Josh just holding off Callum. And then come the 2 Williams. And then battling away, Noah and Callum, as I'm just getting spam messaged by Logan. Yeah, control your car then. Swaggy in P11 battling away with Luigi. Luigi on his debut down the inside of Swaggy, gets ahead into P11, loses the rear. Swaggy coming back at him, round the outside. He stays ahead for now. Frosty watching this unfold. Nathan And then Ollie down in 15 after he spun, but avoided the wall, luckily. Why is Logan just... for God's sake. Oh, now he's gone. I mean, if Logan's listening, restart your Xbox or something. Right then. To finish lap 2, as we got a yellow. Oh, Logan's out. That definitely can't be an AI then. That was him. And it's a VSC to slow everything down, luckily. Right, no penalties so far. Top 5 stay as they are. Callum up 2 places, Hirozio up 2 places, Callum up 4, and Luigi, biggest gainer from last, up 5. Swaggy at 1, Frosty down 1. Nathan gets ahead of Ollie, who's dropped down 4 places. As Nathan's back in, that's good. Oh yeah, I forgot to do this. There we go. Right, the VSC will be ending in a few seconds, I think. Logan, if you have any issue with the stream, message Will and he'll message me. As Ben unfortunately, see what you mean? As Ben unfortunately has sped under the VSC ending, and that's completely ruined his race. As Taze and Chaz F1 now down the inside to take the lead. Ahead of Ben, who's still there and still going to keep his nose in. They bang wheels and Frozen has to watch this unfold. Ben unfortunately has now got a drive through. As Callum got the first one to get a 3-second. Ben has unfortunately sped as the VSC ended, and he's got a drive through. And Chaz F1 from P3 already takes the lead of the race. Ahead of Ben, ahead of Frozen, ahead of Seb. And they all remain as they are, but Callum unfortunately has now got a 3-second as well. Look at that, the top 4. Oh, very close together as Frozen loses the rear. Mistake saved, but it's lost him 2 places as he goes onto the grass and touches the Aston Martin. So Frozen falling backwards as his championship rival now takes the lead with a driver behind him with a drive-through. When does Ben serve it? Is it now? Does he wait a couple laps? As Chaz F1 then leads them away as Ben does serve it, making sure not to speed, as Chaz now has got a 3-second. So the ultimate leader now is Seb in P2. Josh, it's the exact same top 3 as we had in Spain at the moment. Josh now gets a 3-second. They're dropping like flies at the moment. So Frozen back up into 4th, Callum into 5th. Lightan leading his teammate right behind him. As Nathan, there, it's just 1 by 1 by 1. Nathan and Ollie as he slides out as Ben has to make his way back through the pack. Callum 3-second now. Right, it's a comeback job for Ben then. P13 now after he serves this drive through. Chaz 9/10 ahead of Seb, who's just ahead of Josh. Seems like this second chicane is what they're struggling with. Third chicane, should I say, as the Williams have swapped. As Hirozio signals to Lightan, let's work together. P6 and 7 with no penalties. Let's see how much we can accomplish. I want to check the chat, which is annoying. Right, Ollie, and going off there, Swaggy Kiki drops down to last now. Nathan, Ollie, and Ben now up to 12th. As Josh now sets the fastest lap. Now Callum, he really does have some pace around Canada. Seems like it's the shorter tracks like Italy. As round the outside and getting spun is Taze Frozen. Going off, having to avoid the wall, and now BRL Frozen's dropped to 7th. There was a battle between him and Josh, I believe, and it's ended with Frozen getting half spun, and now that's definitely a warning. He's been overtaken by Noah to drop down to 8th. And he's going to have to sit behind the Red Bull for now. But this is awful for T2S7. As Callum is now up to 4th with a 3 second. He's not alone this time because 4 others should I say, have penalties just like his. It really is going to be all about who is clean around the Gilles Villeneuve circuit, as T2S7 does get ahead of Noah, but he's sticking his nose in and he's trying to get back past. And this means Taze should have the DRS to get properly ahead of him, as there's no overtakes happening further front. So here we go. Here's Taze, but it seems like Noah's the one with the DRS. So he's going to stay ahead. So the detection is before the hairpin. Okay, as his teammate Callum getting ahead of Luigi. It seems like those softs are just about wearing off as he goes into the pit lane now. 2 change them, 7 laps then, as Noah stays ahead of Frozen. Top 4 all within a second of one another. Seb closing down on his teammate. Come on, that's surely a warning. As Josh and Callum watch behind with their 3 seconds. The Williams could gain a lot today if it stays like this, but we're only a 5th of the way done with the race. As it seems like the clouds are overlapping the circuit. It's definitely much darker than it was at the start. So it's getting cloudy and you never know if there's going to be a chance of rain. So we've got 2 McLarens, 2 Williams, 2 Alfa Romeos, and then we have Josh in the Aston. Callum right on the back of him in the Ferrari. Seems like that yellow has really added to his confidence. As Ben is now up to 10th, ahead of Frosty Life. Back into the points, and not a million miles off the lead. As Frosty, what does he do? He sends it on Ben, but goes so deep he goes off track in the process. Loses the rear, rejoins ahead of Nathan. No harm done there. And that's probably helped Ben more than anything with the gap. But yeah, Frosty, desperate attempts, could lose him now P11. As Nathan on the back of him, but with DRS, Frosty still stays ahead. Ollie on the back of this. And then, yeah, Luigi is pitted for mediums. That's not going to take him to the end. And Swaggy down in P15. They're just trying to keep formation at the moment, or Alfa Romeo, as Luigi now gets a 3 second. And it's definitely getting darker. I have no idea if rain is on its way. And if it is, that is going to make things very interesting indeed. Yeah, so top 3, all on the hards. That's why Callum's keeping with on the mediums. And so are the 2 Williams, as it seems like Leighton's made a mistake or he's dropped back massively. But nonetheless, as it's the top 6 pretty much fighting for this win at the moment. But you never know about the likes of Frozen. So the top 3 are on hards and the 3 behind are on mediums, as Nathan now gets his first pen. So the Williams, with no chance with avoiding any chance of a safety car, the Williams can pit earlier and potentially gain enough time to undercut, as Callum is right on the back of Josh with those mediums. Still got life in them, but at the moment you just can't find a way past. Josh, no ERS, blasting it all to stay ahead. Seb with 10 times more than that, and Chaz with half of that. And Nathan battling away with Frosty Life heading into the final chicane. Nathan is ahead, losing the rear a little bit, sliding out, and here comes Ollie on the back of the Aston. Now looking with no DRS for Frosty Life. He can't do anything, and he has to sit behind in P13 for now. Ollie 12th, Nathan 11th, but these are for nothing at the moment, as Nathan loses the rear again. They're all fighting for nothing at the moment, as we got a yellow. That's Noah around, losing the rear, I'm presuming. Down to P10, that allows Ben up to P9. He's on the back of Callum now. We've got another yellow. I think it's just Nathan drop it down. Callum gets his second pen. Callum, Nathan, Noah goes wide onto the grass, as is Nathan. But now Noah unfortunately dropping down all the way to P13, as Ben has got ahead of Callum. He's making his way up 15th at one point. Now has halved the grid. Callum will stick with him. But yeah, Noah making mistakes there with spun tyres. Going onto the grass, Nathan went wide to avoid. And yeah, down in P13. As here comes Callum then. On the inside, just has to back off a little bit. This is allowing Erosia to gain on them, as they both have 6 seconds. Josh and Callum. As Seb has broken. Chaz, should I say, has broken the 1 second window. Callum dives it to the inside, but unfortunately, he has gone off. And that's allowed Josh to stay ahead. A little bit of contact as Erosia now goes around the outside. He's up in a P4. Opportunistic is the Ferrari and the Aston Martin, the wiser of them. And now Erosia has split them. Seems like Leighton's just losing so much time from it. Frozen now, 3 seconds. As Rose is now on the back of Josh. Look how much they're sliding. They're really struggling. 10 laps on these mediums as Erosia dives to the inside, and it looks like he has got P3 as Josh lets him go. Goes a bit deep, however, and Josh might try the switchback. His experience allows him to get back into third, but Herosia's not giving this up, blasting his battery. Here comes Callum to make it potentially 3 wide. He's going to dive it to the inside. He's surely outbroken himself, which he has. He goes off track. Herosia third, Josh fourth, and now Callum back down to fifth. If I get one more message from Logan. Right then, Herosia stays in third. This has allowed both Alfa Romeos to stay ahead by quite the gap now. And if Callum needs to make a move, he needs to be careful on his brakes. That's twice now we've seen him send it. And it's just ended with him going off and losing more time than anything. He's in a good position at the moment, even with the penalties. So he's just got to hope that others around him get more. Just quick check of the chats. I don't think anyone's close enough for any sort of move. Well, I'm not checking the main chats. That Will can do that. Right then. Noah after he pitted, I think. Yep, Noah's pitted for mediums. Right, 10 laps in, so the pit stop window should be open in a couple laps time. If any of them pit now, they're fully focused on an undercut, and it's going to be quite a struggle to get to the end. I'm mainly looking at the medium runners of Callum as Lightan has caught up. Callum's lost a peep of time because Lightan's now right on the back of him. No DRS, however. He looks to the outside. Will he try the move? He does as Callum backs off, lets him go. And now Lightan is free to be in P5 as Herosia. We haven't seen this sort of race pace from him all season yet, but he's up in the podium. Like last season, he was fighting for these kind of positions. Start of the season, taking him a while to get used. Yep, caught that. Definitely taken a while for him to be up here and retain where he was last season. But now, he's really shining, and it's great to see because he's on the back of Seb for P2. Unfortunately, with a penalty, Seb keeping it clean. Swaggy Kiki isn't. He's in P14 without a penalty. And that's 9 people now with a 3-second time penalty minimum. There's 3 of them. There's a third of them with 6 seconds of Josh, Callum, and Nathan. Here's Erosia then at the hairpin. Chat's not eking his lead massively as Noah, the other Red Bull, is now struggling. And here comes Erosia then. He flies past Seb. Seb just lets him go. Erosia has the ERS. And now, can he try and challenge Chaz F1? Winner of the opening race last season is into the wall in the background. BCFC Josh hits the wall of champions. And that is a safety car. BCFC Josh has crashed, a massive impact for the Aston. As they're all going to pit, you can see it there. Challenged for the, as Kiki gets a drive through for speeding. Challenged for the championship 3 years ago. You didn't need to hit the wall to prove that you are a champion in the making, but he's out of the race. Caught that in the background, and that's completely changed the order. Look at that, Alfa Romeo Williams, Alfa Romeo Williams. So who has this helped? This has helped the medium runners. The hard runners are going to have to put the mediums on for 23 laps. Of course, some will be under safety car, but this has certainly helped Williams. Not so much Alfa Romeo, but they will be quick at the start. This is going to reduce Chaz's lead that Herosia was eating into anyway. That is a hefty impact, and if that was in real life, I hope Josh is okay. But his spirits are going to certainly be dampened. Right then, into the pits then comes Chaz F1. The top 2 teams are going to have to stack here a little bit. Lightan seems a bit too far for anything. Kiki's got another drive-through. What is he doing? Right then, Chaz F1 in then. It's got to be the mediums. Erosia comes in for the hards now. Now Seb for the mediums. As Callum stays out. AFC Callum is going to lead the Grand Prix. He hasn't pitted yet. And not sure what Chaz will think of that. But Hirose, they are going to stay as they were. They're not going to lose anything. Frozen pitted, remember? Well, not remember, but Frozen pitted a lap before. Because he was the first one behind Josh's crash. So he went diving in and he will be net P5. So he could still bring himself into this. Medium hard, medium hard, medium hard. As Ben, this has really saved his race as well. Coming through the field, but the big gaps happened in front of him and now they are completely gone. Pole sitter Ben, no penalties remember. On the hards, so there's no issue, especially fuel-wise now for these guys. He's back up with the top guys. But only him, Lightan and Seb have no penalties. Callum and Nathan, 8th and 9th. Frosty in 10th. Then Luigi, then Ollie, and then Swaggy. With 2 drive-thrus now, I think. And then this will allow Noah to catch up as well. So AFC Callum, will he pit at the end of this lap? Thank you, Chaz. It's likely medium soft from here for those on medium compound tyres, and I have to agree. I don't see those mediums lasting 20 laps. But if there is a safety car, then they'll easily be able to put on another set of mediums or softs. So yeah, both Alfa Romeos, Frozen. Will they have to make another pit stop? Most likely. Oh. Oh, is losing the rear there is Luigi. I don't know if... Is Callum actually there? Because like Imola, final 8 laps he was AI, so I don't know if he's actually there or not. That would maybe explain why he didn't pit. Because this is a very weird strategy choice. 14 lap old mediums. So apparently Bram, last season's world champion, is race engineering him and he's just not responding. This is not going to be great. I don't know why Logan left the guys back. Quick check of the chats. Will hasn't alerted me anything yet, so. Bram. Right then, safety car. I think we'll stay out for another lap because it hasn't caught Noah yet. Unless Noah catches them right before the final chicane, then it may come in pretty late. It is in this lap, okay. So let's hope Callum is there. With this game, you can't try and judge it right and overtake someone when the leader has gone on the line, well, past the line. You have to wait past the line because it will just give you an illegal overtake. So here comes Callum, and luckily with his AI, it shouldn't cause that bad of a restart as he's gone. Look at that. Caught Chaz F1 a little bit napping, but Chaz is now going to gain on Callum, and this is pretty much the test. And it is. There we go. Callum is not there, I don't think. So around the outside of Rose is now going to try and get past Callum. The AI is on 60 as Frosty Life now gets a penalty. So Callum is just going to drop down the order now and hopefully he doesn't cause anything. Seb on the grass there is just going to held up a little bit from the Ferrari as Lightan's right on the back as Chaz has a 5-second for ignoring yellow flags. I'm guessing he's overtaken that Callum. Oh, so that's just causing chaos as Noah in the background. Same place he spun up to begin with. So that, unless he has to unfortunately serve it, hopefully, I don't know, if he doesn't pit, then hopefully it does get removed. As Lightan does get ahead of Callum, and look, it's causing all sorts of kerfuffle. And there, easily he should have spun. Clearly he's in AI, and he's dropping down the order now. Look at him, yeah, it's AI behaviour, 100%. And it's just allowing everyone to get past, but unfortunately it's just placing them at Lightan now. 5-second for corner cutting. How's that happened? Anyway, Ben out of all that is now ahead of Lightan and Frozen, but now he's being overtaken by Frozen to drop down to 5th. Let's see where Callum is. He's in P9, finally pitting to get out of the way. As Noah and Swaggy are battling. Noah with no front wing, I don't think. Nope, so he's heading right in. And Ben and Lightan now battling. Lightan's trying to get ahead of the Mercedes. little bit of contact there, put his nose on the rear tyre. As Chaz now gets another penalty, this time for corner cutting. Ben stays ahead of Lightan. You know the tyres. Let's put it as Noah's out, but that's in the pit lane. That should be fine. Right then. So Chaz F1, I'm going to take it that that 5 second is BS. So Chaz F1 on 6 seconds, as his Horosia. Horosia on 6 as well. Seb, I don't know who said it earlier, but someone said Seb would win tonight. At the moment, look at that. Everyone has a time penalty, apart from Ben and Seb. Lightan, I think, I don't know, at this corner he got a 5 second for gaining a place or something. So I have no idea how that's going to affect it. So keep an eye on Lightan and Chaz with their 5 seconds. But yeah, massive train now with the top 3. At this rate, Alfa Romeo may have to prioritise Seb winning this race, as Frozen is on a mission this time. As dropping down the orders, Ben, what's happened there? He's lost a couple places, and now it's a few places. As Ben's left, that's why. So unfortunate for him. Dropping down the order, pretty much going to be where he started. Frozen now gets his 2nd time penalty. As they're just trailing through. Everyone with a time penalty. Bar Ben's disconnected car, and Seb has kept it very clean indeed. As Swaggy's out. That might be another safety car. Oh no, it's in the pit lane. Okay, so we've lost Swaggy, retired in the pit lane, Noah retired in the pit lane, Josh who crashed in the Wall of Champions, and Logan who crashed at turn 2. Right. Lap 5, lap 12. Exceeding track limits. Okay, so Seb's 1 away. But at the moment, he's in the best position possible, even with those mediums, so he may have to pit again. Horosia on those hards is not looking too bad either. Ben's back in, that's good. And then there were 12. Don't know if Callum's back. Probably Seth's driving to figure out. But Nathan and Ollie battling now into turn 2. And they're fighting for crucial points as they slide tyres. And Nathan in P9 with 9 seconds of penalties. That's really going to hamper him, as Ollie's just trying to make his way through. Luigi in P8 on his debut. As Frosty, I'm sure, is finding himself all right in P7. Callum is probably enjoying himself a lot in P6. Lightan still doesn't seem to have the pace to keep with the top guys at the moment. Frozen eking away at that gap as Ollie and Nathan once again battling. This time Ollie is ahead of Nathan as Frosty now gets a penalty. He's not going to be enjoying P7 that much now. Chaz a second away from Erosia. Does Nathan try it down the inside? He does. Ollie gives him the room as Callum drops down now, and Frosty just stays behind him, and Ollie gets ahead of Nathan. Good battling so far, but it's happening everywhere. You can't keep track as Luigi now on the back of Frosty Life. Frosty on the back of Callum, and Nathan once again swapping with Ollie. That's the 3rd time this lap, as Lightan now gets his first 3 seconds. Ben back in, but look how far he is behind. So Chaz 8 tenths to Erosia. Seb right on the back of the Williams, and you can easily see the top 3 teams of McLaren, Williams and Alfa Romeo occupying the top 6. So Frosty Life best of the rest pretty much, but he goes wide. He dips the tyre onto the grass. That allows Luigi to now get ahead of Frosty. Managed to make the corner, but still he's going to try back down the inside. That's optimistic, and he has to correct it, and that spins Luigi round nearly. That's going to be looked at probably. Not the greatest moment from Frosty. That's undone Luigi's hard work and drops him back down to 10th. Was in a potential P7, but that send from Frosty sent him into a bit of a half slide. It was very opportunistic, but yeah, going wide there. Nathan allows Ollie, as Nathan corrects into the wall now, and now he nearly tags Ollie round, but they're somehow keeping stability. And now Luigi on the comeback. There's one with contact, and Nathan's still going to try and keep his nose in as Callum now gets the 3 second for corner cutting, but he has to back off, does Nathan, and lose the rear a little bit too, as Luigi on the back of Ollie now, but with DRS won't be able to get past, but he's flashing, he knows that. Callum within a second of Lightan, who's falling ever further backwards. Frozen's going to try and hopefully get onto this little battle. He's not really gaining anything, as Ferozi has the same pens. It's Ben, fastest lap, showing he has that pace, but with 16 seconds behind, he's going to hit. The only saving grace is a safety car at this rate. Let's look tyres. 8 of the 12 runners are on mediums, and besides Ben, so that reduces it to 7. 7 of the top 10 are on mediums, and I really don't see them going to the end. And if they do, it's puncture territory, or at least I'd say around 2 seconds slower a lap, maybe, than if you had new mediums. And then Chaz F1 heading through the chicane. Kept it tidy so far. Well, besides the pens. And Erosia falling ever further behind now. Lost half a second to the Alfa Romeo in P2 though. And then Seb, P3, just sticking on the back of him. Same amount of ERS between the top 3 really. And Light and Frozen pretty much with the same. And now Ollie versus Frosty Life. He goes clean round the outside, does the Haas. Can he make it stick? A little bit of contact with the front wing to rear wheel. But Ollie has pulled off a very nice move to get himself up in a P7. And now Luigi's right on the back of Frosty Life, who's sliding out of the chicane. And now will Luigi try any sort of send? Will he wait for the DRS? Frosty goes defensive. This allows Luigi to try around the outside. He locks up and now has to stick behind. Frosty will still have the DRS from Ollie, and it seems like Luigi will have to hold his ground for now. Seb has dropped outside of a second of Herosia, and Luigi just has to stay behind. Nathan just trying to keep with. Ben has gained about 4 seconds on these lot because of the battles and his pace. After all, he did get pole position, and now will Frosty try another send? No, he just stays behind, nearly runs into the back of Ollie. How did they not touch? As Nathan is just watching this unfold as Luigi gets ahead of Frosty Life. Now he's up in a P8, now he has the DRS, now he has the opportunity to get back into his rightfully deserved P7 down the inside of Ollie. Can he make it stick? He needs to brake later than the Haas. They brake evenly, but Luigi's made it stick, but he goes over the curb. He gets a 3 second. Ollie tries to switch back, and now they're still wheel to wheel, as in the background Frosty's lost out to Nathan as well. But here comes Luigi to get P7, as Herosia gets 9 seconds of pens now, and Sam gets his first. So Luigi gets ahead of Ollie then, and Nathan gets ahead of Frosty. Ben now 11 seconds behind. He's probably going to gain quite a bit here because of all the battling. But that was great. So nice to see another debutant in the Ferrari this time of Luigi. Now making moves, good moves, clean moves, up in a P7. And as much as Seb's got his first penalty, I really wouldn't be too bothered about that. He's still winning the race. Actually, no, he's not. Because if Chaz has 6... well, he's still optimising points for the team. Because at the moment he's 3.2 behind Chaz. The only way I see Chaz winning this is to make it to the end. If there's a safety car, as much as he can serve that 5 sec, it won't get removed. It does eventually mean that Seb, or whoever, like Ben for example, will gain. But at this very moment, with 11 laps to go, all Chaz can hope for is get those mediums to the end. Make sure he's 3 seconds ahead of Seb, which at the moment he's 3.1. As Frosty gets ahead of Nathan because Nathan's lost his front wing. And he's just past the pit lane. Don't know what's happened there. Some kind of collision. So yeah, that's Chaz's only hope to win this race, to win back-to-back races for the first time in his career. He's won 3 so far this season. As Callum now gets his 3rd penalty down in 12th. Nathan now with his 4th penalty. But it's all about if Chaz gets any more penalties, that's the other thing. We said this race would be about penalties, and it's clear to see, look, everyone's got one apart from Ben. As Herosia locked up into the hairpin. Closest battle now. Frozen's gaining on these lot. Lightan in a bit of no man's land at the moment. Callum pretty much in the same scenario. Luigi under pressure from Ollie, who's still sticking with same amount of ERS for both of them, as Ollie loses the rear and goes into the grass. That's going to allow Frosty to get ahead. Mistake from Ollie has cost him. Ollie blasting his ERS to stay ahead of the Aston Martin. As Ben now gets past Nathan with ease because no front wing. As Ollie is into the pits. So, could this be an indication that those mediums have already gone off? They've done 11 laps, so before the safety car came out, that was pretty much what they were doing. And he's going to put the softs on. He's going to go to the end. He's going to try some sort of undercut. That's what Nathan's going to have to do too. So he wasn't too far away from a pit stop. But he's going to put medium compound tyres on again. Alright. Yeah, softs 10 laps. That's going to be interesting. Considering Luigi started on softs, and after lap 7 he pitted. So that's very interesting. But yeah, top, I'd say 7 are all spaced out. No one within a second. So it's all a waiting game now to see who will pit. How much life have they got in their tyres? And yeah, if Chaz F1 wants to win, he has to make it to the end. As he's flashing, he's trying to push every little ounce of pace he can. Rosier locks up again into turn 1. Seb falling further behind as he used up his mediums because Taze is gaining about half a second a lap on him. Lightan 7 seconds behind. It's clear the top 4 are streaking away of the rest as Frosty now gets ahead of Luigi because he's in the pits for the medium compound tyre. So even him on the hards is pitting again. Is everyone going to pit again? I'll show penalties later. Tyres are a bit more important at the moment. So Ollie has got massively ahead of Luigi, who's going to come out ahead of his teammate. Ollie on the softs, he should be the fastest person on track. I wouldn't be surprised if this right now is the fastest lap for him. Fastest lap at the moment goes to Ben, 12.8. Ollie, 1.1 off that. But then again, he hasn't been the quickest today. He got like 11th in quali or 10th or something. But Ben, he's on the back of Frosty Life. Not giving up, which is great. Much more ERS, and he's trying to stay behind for the DRS as he goes around the outside. Frosty lets him go, but now dives massively, and it's a deja vu between the Aston and the Mercedes. Unfortunately, though, Ben has to break that because he slides once again on the exit of the chicane. We see a driver make a mistake. Frosty with once again a send that was just never going to work, but it ended with him in front because Ben has lost the rear. And he must be getting massively frustrated. And remember, the oldest medium runners are Frozen and Callum, the two McLarens, as they pitted right when Josh crashed. How long can they endure? Chaz 13 laps, and there we go. Like I thought, Ollie, fastest lap. 14 laps, so in a lap or two we should definitely have a confirmation of how the medium runners are favouring. And Williams are the only hard runners, barring Callum. So Ben was already caught up to the back of Frosty. He's not giving up Callum now with a penalty. Frosty just wants to stay ahead. It's a bit pointless and futile, especially considering Ben has no penalties. So this time Ben, he goes back around the outside. Will Frosty send it? Yes, he does. And then Ben's just going to try the switch. This time hopefully he'll climb up the acceleration better and yeah, easily get ahead of Frosty, who needs to learn a bit more about what a send is. As Ben now charges on, 7.5 seconds behind Callum. 9 seconds, so Ben would at least get 6. And if there is a safety car, do not rule out Ben as the race winner, as he slides out the final corner. Just showing that all of these guys aren't perfect. They are going to make mistakes. Chaz, 2.3 now ahead of Erosio. 2 seconds ahead of Seb, who's increased the gap to Frozen by half a second. Has Frozen taken all the life out of his mediums now? Let's just quickly see. Gap to leader. Ollie is half a minute behind. A pit stop. If Chaz pitted, I think he would come out round about where Callum is. So Ben on the mediums, he's this is going to be very close indeed. But Ben, obviously, on 6 lap newer mediums, he can get his mediums to the end. I thought someone spun there. He can get his mediums to the end. Obviously, his are going to be in worse condition, being 16 lap old, compared to these guys who are about to start their 16th lap on those mediums. So don't know if Ben might be in trouble towards the end, but at the moment, the 2 McLarens and the 2 Alfa Romeos are just going to have to make do with what they have. And Herozia is just going to have to start pushing as Ollie gets ahead of Frosty. And with a penalty as Frosty becomes the second Aston to hit the wall. But this time he carries on. Ollie, 4 laps on those softs now. Got ahead of Frosty. As Callum now gets a penalty. I think we'll flick it back now. 12 seconds for the 2 people not scoring any points at the moment. And yeah, Chaz. We know that 5 second he has isn't fair. And it looks like if he doesn't pit now, Nathan gets his 5th penalty. That will be removed. So he has 6 seconds. He needs to be finishing 3 seconds ahead of Seb to win this race. At the moment, the gap's 4.4. So at the moment, Chaz looking good to win this race. If he gets one more time penalty, though, that could change things. As Frosty now gets his 3rd time penalty. And Frozen has caught up a lot to Seb. And Seb has caught up a lot to Herozia. Nearly both within a second of each other. 5 laps to go then. Let's have a look at those tyres. They look fine. No line or graining at the moment. And Ben just gaining on Callum. He's probably halved the gap the last time it was checked. You can see Ollie in the background though, gaining even more on those soft compound tyres. 13.6. Oh yeah, this is gonna massively gain. So he's gaining about 4 seconds on Callum and about 1.2 on Ben. Maybe 3 on Callum as his softs will wear out soon. But you can see the gap going down. And you can see the gap going down between Frozen and Seb. As he's got DRS, Seb is just outside of it. All of them, no ERS between the 3 of them. And this could jeopardise if Seb has any chance of winning. Seb will now get DRS. He's within the second of Herozia. These 2 on dying mediums to Herozia still 16 lap old hards. 17 lap old hards. As into turn 1. As Luigi gets past Frosty. Into P9. Scoring points for Ferrari on his debut then at the moment. And you can see the same's going to happen between Callum, Ben and Ollie. As it's the same gap between all 3 of them. And it's just going to go closer and closer. You can see Chaz just has the pace when it matters in the race. He's now extending his gap somehow. He's keeping those mediums at bay. And if he really wants to win this race on track, he needs to be 8 seconds clear of Seb. As Ben now completes it. He's got his 1st penalty. So him and Seb have the least amount of 3. But you can see Ben right on the back of Callum. And there you can see Ollie nearly right on the back of them. 4 laps remaining then. Who's going to try a move? What's going to change? Because I think in a lap's time there'll be no more chance of a safety car. So here's Herozia. Far enough ahead of Seb. Who's just about far enough ahead of Frozen to make any sort of move. Lightan in no man's land. As yeah, they're not close enough for any sort of move. As Ben is close enough for a move. He's on Callum. And now he's ahead of him. And Ollie probably will get him too. No DRS for the McLaren. But Callum has ERS, but Ollie is not going to let that stop him. He goes down the inside, and Callum has to back off. He's lost 2 places there. And Herozia now gets his 4th time penalty. And yeah, Callum drops down to 8th. That was inevitable. Now it's Ben versus Ollie for 6th. Ben can let Ollie go, but he has to make sure to finish within 3 seconds of his race time. As Ollie loses the rear a little bit, slides out, and you can see how much they're losing. They might even catch Lightan by the end. They won't catch these guys. As, yeah, Herozia is going to drop outside of the podium. The podium will be Chaz, 7, Taze, but in what order? At the moment, Alfa Romeo still looks strong for a 1-2. 5 seconds now between Seb to Chaz. Needs another 3 seconds in hand if he really wants to win this on track. Otherwise, it will be Seb declared the winner in game. But post-race, it'll 99% go back to Chaz to get his 4th win of the season and increase his championship lead. We start lap 33, 3 to go. Herozia versus Seb versus Frozen. None of them are close enough to make any sort of move. As Herozia on those hards with more life in them is managing to stay ahead. Now it's between Frozen and Seb. Ben just ahead of Ollie, who's really pushing now to try and get ahead. Seems like everyone else behind is too far of a gap to one another to try and sort of move. But here comes Ollie then. Trying down the inside, locks up and can't quite get past at the moment. Ben making that Mercedes the widest Mercedes possible. Seb has dropped outside of a second nearly of Ferrozio, and if he does that, then that will allow Taze to get ahead. But Taze would need 3 seconds of a gap, and I don't think Seb is on course to get any more penalties. What about Chaz F1? Looks all good at the moment. Amazingly, these guys have managed to keep their mediums all the way to the end. 20 laps. They're going to do 22, remember, on mediums. Tyres must be screaming, but will they get any punctures? Will there be any punctures as Chaz starts the penultimate lap? Herosier has now cleared Seb, who gets his second time penalty. We got a yellow and Nathan's out. But surely we don't have enough laps for a safety car. So Nathan's crashed. That's it for him. P12, there'll be 11 running. Callum will not get any points. And it's lap 34 of the race as Luigi gets ahead of Callum. Callum falling ever further back. Ollie now gets ahead of Ben. As Callum comes back, Ollie now gets his 3rd time penalty. Seems like Ben will beat him as Luigi has got ahead of Callum, who can't do anything. But with his ERS, can he try to overpower the ERS as Ben's coming back at Ollie? He gets back ahead. Great battle between them, and here comes Callum. Back around the outside, but he can't quite challenge. But he has the ERS. But Luigi just stays ahead. Seb dropping ever further backwards now. And 5 seconds he's at the moment. 6 seconds behind Chaz. Seb, no ERS. Taze, no ERS. But they're slowly gaining a little bit. And here is Taze's chance. Chaz is about to start the final lap. Here comes Taze then. Taze versus Seb, 2nd and 3rd in the standings. And Seb moves over quite late. And that allows Taze to just back off a little bit, but he's still going to try and go down the inside. They make a little bit of contact, and Seb has to cut the chicane. And now Taze is ahead of Seb. Seb moved late. He kept it round the outside. And I think in terms of Taze's race, that was all fair. But that may be looked at. But nonetheless, Alfa Romeo versus McLaren. There always is going to be a little bit of contact. We're on the final lap of the Grand Prix. And at the moment, Chaz F1 seems like he's doing enough. He's surviving on those medium compound tyres. Herosier is going to drop to 4th with 12 seconds compared to Frozen and Seb 6th. Frozen, who got spun right in the first few laps, made his way back up, and he's going to get 2nd to make the top 3 in the standings. Still 1, 2 and 3 shows why they're there, and Williams will still come home with a heap of points. Chaz F1 has exited the hairpin for the final time onto the back straight now. And Seb is just losing ever more time on those mediums. Lightan, Ben still ahead of Ollie. And Luigi has cleared Callum. Frosty will still get a point, which is good for him. Callum trailing home in 11th will be unfortunate. But for the first time in his career, Chaz F1 is going to have back-to-back victories in EXFL Tier 2 in Season 7. Alfa Romeo win with Chaz F1. Herosier comes home. P2 on track will drop to 4th, and BRL Frozen will take P2. Seb will go to 3rd. Herosier drops to 4th, but it's still a good race for Williams. Chaz F1 then, victorious. He made the stint last on those mediums. He didn't think they would. But Alfa Romeo, 1-2 last race, 1-3 this race. They are the unstoppable force at the moment. Ben will come home just to hold off Ollie for P6. It's unfortunate the pole sitter to finish that low down. Ollie 7th, good points. Luigi on his debut will come home for P7 because of Ollie's penalties. I hope there's no mistakes there, but yeah, if so, well done Luigi. Callum P9 still got some points, and Frosty slowing down as there's Callum 2 rounded out. Jeez, that's a lot of messages. Anyway, there's your result then for the Tier 2 Season 7 Canadian Grand Prix. Once again, another great race to witness. And Chaz F1 overcame all his penalties, even the extra 5 second, which will most likely should get removed. But he still won it on track. He's still done what we all hoped to see the race decided here on stream and not post-race. And there we go, top 2 in the standings. Chaz increases his lead then to 31 points ahead of Frozen, who increases his gap from Seb to 3 points. Then we have the 2 Williams, then Mercedes, Ferrari, Haas, McLaren, Aston rounding out the points. And unfortunately, it's a double DNF for Red Bull. One of the Astons crashed. Swaggy gave up in the pits. Nathan in P12. And there's no race director. I was like, oh shoot, I'm not going to be able to record the race director, but there is none for some reason. Oh well. Right, let's get the top 3 in. I know with Seb he's going to say random stuff at the end. Just a little warning. Alright, let's get him in. Alright, and here we go. P2 has joined the party. Taze, you there, mate?
Yeah.
Include your audio.
Mhm.
Okay, so P2, a good comeback considering what happened at the exit of 2 being half spun. Do you want to just take us through your qualifying and race? The ups and downs?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not necessarily happy at the moment. Like, I could have won that race, honestly. But penalties always come into play. Um, Qualifying. I mean, I felt like I had the decent pace, but obviously Ben was faster than me, obviously in qualifying. But I felt there was a little bit more time in that qualifying lap. But it is what it is. And then obviously, start of the race, couple of wheel bangs. I'm not even really entirely sure if I can remember what happened, but a couple of mistakes just made me fall away down the pack and just sort of had to try and make a comeback. But all the best, all I could do was P2, which is still good considering.
Can you just take us through what happened with the half spin? I think it was with the Aston of Josh.
I think he was going that slow into the corner that I tapped his rear end, and then I sort of got sideways and then just spun onto the grass. But I don't think it was his fault. It's probably more or less my fault, but it is what
Fair
it
enough.
is.
And can you, final thing, take us through, I'll get Seb's thoughts in a minute, but can you take us through that overtake on Seb? He moved a little late and then heading into the chicane he had to go across. What was your take on that?
Yeah, well, I was gonna go to the right no matter what on the straight, but Seb just sort of like he was at the left. He left the gap and then moved over right as I was on his rear end, which I thought was a bit not great. But through the last chicane, I just wanted to take no shit. Honestly, I just wanted to go for it, like because the hunt there was the last lap of the was the second last lap of the race, so I just had to go for it no matter what, and didn't really care.
And you were fine for position with both the same amount of time pens, which was a big factor. And I think
Mhm.
it's only right to move on to Seb with that because Seb was one of the best drivers to, at least for the most part, to not have any time pens until eventually, right towards the end. I'm guessing the mediums just fell off. But yeah, Seb, are you there, mate?
Yeah,
If you include your audio.
yeah.
All right, P3, mate. Good qualifying lap as well to get yourself P4, and then you were just like for a bit of the race, it was looking like you were going to win because you had no time penalties. And then what happened towards the end? Did the mediums just fall off completely?
No, I just kind of just I used up a lot of my mediums to keep with the front two. So coming to like halfway into the race, I was going through with like Charlie was saying he's got 20% one, and I'm on like 28 on the rears. So yeah, so I just kind of had to relax my pace a bit and everything.
What what was your tire? Do you know what your tires were on at the end?
They were over 65% on the rears.
Wow. Luckily no puncture territory then. I think that's pretty much it. I guess we'll ask your take on the overtake Taze tried to make on you going across the chicane.
Uh, I didn't see the arrow anywhere, so I moved more centrally because I'm already quite central on the track, and I've moved literally millimeters left, well millimeters right, and then going into the final chicane, I've been left literally no racing room whatsoever. I've been forced against the wall, and then he's broke late anyway, and then I've had to avoid an accident with him, cut across the final corner.
Right. Anyway, moving on to our race winner, the fourth time this season and the first time in his career back-to-back victories. Jazz, are you there, mate? Brilliant. Were you lot in a party with Chaz during that? Obviously you were, Seb. Ah,
Shit, sorry, I was muted.
right, never mind. Have you included your audio?
I think I have, yeah.
Okay, cool. You have just won the Tier 2 Season 7 Canadian Grand Prix, and it wasn't easy. You made a decent start, holding behind Ben and Taze, and then just take us through when the VSC ended and you pulled off that brilliant double overtake while Ben, I'm sure, was annoyed about his drive-through.
Well, I saw the gap and I knew what I needed to do because I knew that I was quicker and that I couldn't hold behind them before the first corner. So I thought, it's good to be aggressive sometimes, and that one worked. So
Hmm. Right moment, right time. And then came the penalties. Did you ever feel you may lose this win or even the podium from your 3 or 6 seconds?
I was confident on my 5 second would get removed because it was very silly.
It was to
Um,
overtake Callum's AI on the restart, right?
yeah, AI
Yeah, that'll get
when you're
removed.
leading a safety car restart is reckless, but
Hmm.
I
So yeah,
knew
that
that I'd overtaken him after the start finish line, so it should have been removed. But
yeah,
in
it
the
was really
case that it
weird.
wasn't, I still needed to pull the gap, and it was difficult. But I think that was kind of helped by the fact that Horosia slowed, and it kind of turned into a bit of a jostle behind. So
It did indeed, and yes, you did manage to win it on track, which is great. So you don't even need to um, get your 5 second move. I'm sure you probably will. But anyway, you still got the win on track and will be the win in the history books and the results. And now you have a 31 point lead ahead of BRL Frozen, heading into, I think, next week is the Austrian Grand Prix. So nearing the halfway stage at the moment, Alfa Romeo and you are the team to beat. Um, and yeah, once again, top three in the standings, finished top three in the race, shows why you're the top three. And I don't really have any more questions, but yeah, that has been it. The Tier 2 Season 7 Canadian Grand Prix. We will see you next time out in 7 days. I'm very surprised Seb hasn't started
Kill
shouting random
yourself,
nonsense. Here we go.
fucking
Right,
penises.
we'll see you next time.